news. Closed on some property today. Pretty stoked about that. Got all the good paperwork finished. Boy, do you sign a lot of documents, man. But this will be pretty sweet. I'm pretty stoked about it. Um, I was thinking about something earlier. I've seen all these new military propaganda commercials, whatever you want to call them, and I think back to when I was young or whatnot, and how different the commercials were all for recruiting. I mean, like, for instance, I don't know how old some of you guys are. I'm assuming, people from the United States may have seen these commercials on television at one point or another, but you've got Army, be all you can be, and they had, Army stuff, or like the National Guard, what 2 weekends, two weekends a month, and whatever else junk, right? But be all you can be, They had the going through boot camp, then going through, or I mean, sorry, basic, because that's what Army guys call it, basic. It's real for real people do boot camp, but going through all that, and then it's showing like them go to different classes and different MOS. Of course, you've got the soldier, warrior, whatever. You get to the Navy. The Navy actually had like Godsmack, that I'm awake or whatever song hits hard, freaking awesome. The Navy also had like it's not a job, it's an adventure. And then it's even funnier. There's that terribly but awesome movie called Under Siege with Steven Seagal, where he's a chef on a boat, former SEAL, but he punched his commanding officer, which you punch your commanding officer, dude, you're going to get more than just a demoted, down to being a cook on a, Navy destroyer or whatever. And I don't know, that show, it was so awful, but so awesome. I mean, 80s and 90s, right? You look back at it now and you think, what in the hell were we thinking? But it's not a job, it's an adventure, right? Navy, okay, cool. Then, of course, you have the best commercial out of all of them. You've got this dude fighting this monster with a sword. Marines, man, few, proud, brave. I mean, it's just like, you look at the new ones now, you've got like these woke parents. I mean, like this girl with two moms, and this girl's not in any decent shape. I've looked at like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Jameson Travels. One of my favorite by far. He's a pretty fair dude as far as like his criticism he gives and whatnot. But he gets all these clips of like boot camp and things like that, and he kind of critiques them and does reactions or whatever. And he's critical of the Marines. He was in the Marine Corps as well. But like he's showing like boot camp footage, and then after you're in boot camp, you go to School of Infantry. If you're in the Marine Corps, you go to infantry indoc, and like you've got these Marines, and they're at the line at the range, doing shooting, going down the line, safety, eject, reload, and so forth. And this kid's got his damn magazines backwards, trying to shove it into the rifle. And you would have thought that they would actually maybe cut that part out of the advertisement before they put it on television or stream it or whatever. And I'm just thinking, what did they? I mean, the Marine Corps has a shitty budget as it is, but I didn't think it was that bad. Where, oh no, we can't get rid of that footage. We can't afford to reshoot this scene because he was putting the magazine in backwards. And it's like, what is going on here, man? I mean, it's sad. I saw, some other footage. They've got, you got your E6, your staff sergeants in there in boot camp going in, busting in the barracks, yelling at everybody, making them scramble, all that stuff. This dude, we're talking, he had love handles. He had his hands in his pockets, and anybody that never served in the Marines, you're not allowed to have your hands in your pockets, with exception to if you're quickly grabbing something to take it from your pockets. You can't stand around with your hands in your pockets. If your hands are cold, you can't stand with your hands in your pockets. And a lot of times, if you see footage and you've got these sergeants and stuff, and they stand and they've got their hands like this, and that being the reason as to why, because you can't put your hands in your pockets, you don't put your hands in front. But he's doing all this stuff, and I'm like, this can't be a real ad. There is no way. And I go over to their website. Sure enough, they've got it up. I mean, it's still not as embarrassing as that Navy one, where the guy's got the scope backwards. He's chicken winging it a little too hard. That one was pretty funny. I mean, they put that picture up there for that advertisement. I just laughed because if there's any issues or whatnot that was going to happen off of any of the boats while they were out there, it's not like they wouldn't just tell the Marines that are on board of the deck to go over and manage the crisis or whatever that they're dealing with. But anyways, I don't know, man. Men's department, you got to talk shit on the Navy, man. But I see all these old ads and stuff like that, and then I see all these new ones, and it's freaking sad, man. Like, you join to get tough. I mean, like, it's just blows my mind. And like, are they that desperate, man? They can't get anybody to either re-enlist, make it up to E6, and be in good shape for boot camp or something. I mean, it's just really, as it came down to that, it's concerning because, we're at the end, we're at like the possibility of another war breaking out at some point in the next 5 years. I have a feeling. I've been saying it, for quite some time. I mean, we're out of the desert. We're not recouped yet. This is a time to rebuild, but I don't know. I mean, how do you attract people? And then I thought about it this way, and there's a lot of controversy on YouTube, especially amongst the people in the special operations communities. Whether you have Tim Kennedy, you've got Rob O'Neill, you guys watch Sean Ryan. Sean Ryan's not really one of the people, that's kind of what this is going on with. But you've got Sean Ryan, you've got Marcus Luttrell, the lone survivor. You've got these guys who, all of them have had like movie deals or kind of a celebrity status, stuff like that. Rob O'Neill is shot bin Laden. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of doubt and questions. I'm not going to doubt it. And I don't doubt a lot of the things that he did. But him and like Marcus Luttrell recently had said that the Navy actually had somebody write his lone survivor book for him. And that was kind of a shocker and a disappointment to hear because there's a lot of criticism. There were some Rangers and there were some Marines, were out there looking for him during that whole, I think it was Operation Red Wings or something along that line. And they said that when they found Luttrell, his magazines and his chest carrier were all still completely filled. It's like he didn't even shoot around. And, if you're engaged in combat with 200, I don't know what the real number is. I think they said probably closer to about 40. Still, that's a lot for anybody, 4 sailors versus that many is still quite a bit. But if you're engaged in combat, man, you'd be popping off. You're out in the middle of nowhere. You've got no place to go re-up your gear, reload, except what you carried. And, there's just a lot of inconsistencies and things like that. But at the same time, they're pushing these books out, and then they're pushing these movies out and these speaking engagements and things like that. I mean, because how many people other than Rob O'Neill being a dumb drunk and either saying racial slurs to people at hotels or getting not drunk and getting kicked off Delta Airlines? But I mean, you've got like Zero Dark 30, you've got Captain Phillips, you've got a lot of these kind of movies or whatever that have military stuff going on in them. And, you've got these real guys who are the operators who go through freaking crazy ass training and stuff like that. Okay, those are the types of things like young dudes who want to go into the military, that's something to look up to for, I mean, it's you've got so many guys like Jack Carr, for instance, and I'm a big fan of his books. I enjoy reading them. One of my favorites that Jack Carr's done, there was a short series on Amazon Prime, I believe. It had Chris Pratt in it, and it was called like The Terminal List. Awesome movie. I enjoyed it. Complete fiction, but great show. I mean, these are good campaigns to try to get people to enlist. But then you look at the actual commercials the military's pushing out, and it's like, is this like a joke, or is it a psyop experience, or like, is Ashton Kutcher gonna pop out at the end of this commercial and say, "I got you punked," or what? Hey, Antonino. But I mean, then you look at like American Sniper and Chris Kyle and all that stuff. Now, I don't know about you guys, but whether it be the barroom drunk or somebody, you hear so many people like, "Oh, I was a sniper, and I want to be a sniper, and sniper this and sniper that." Okay, I mean, a lot of your infantry guys, they can get sniper training, go to sniper school. Doesn't necessarily mean they, were a sniper. Doesn't even necessarily mean they got their combat patch and they were, engaged in the enemy combat firefight and whatnot. But like, it's just, I always kind of, whenever somebody says sniper, right off the bat, dude, my bullshit meter goes off. And it's just because, that's the sexy job to have, right? You get the cool big ass rifle, 300 Win Mags, 308s, and all that fun stuff. But being a sniper, man, I'll tell you what, from my point of view, looking at it, and and I give power to these dudes that do it. Fuck, man, having to lay there for hours, possibly have to piss your pants because you can't move, can't give up your position. Every shot you take, you have to document and report on. And so when you hear these guys talking about shooting, like Ramundi, for instance, killing 150 dudes or whatever, dude, he'd be getting hit for war crimes, man. I mean, like, it's not like you just go out there and you can shoot people, because you have so many ROE you have to follow. And for those of you, those acronyms, rules of engagement. And it's like, okay, sniper, okay, let's go with this and see where this guy goes with it or whatever, and they're talking about it, and it's just like, okay, no, this guy was not. And I don't know, it's I mean, like, the American Sniper show was cool. Yeah, I read the book. A lot of it was very hard for me to believe, more so the stuff when he got back stateside, like, but I'm not going to sit there and I'm not going to talk, ton of shit on Chris Kyle or whatnot. He's dead. At this point, it's beating a dead horse. But like the representation, though, I wish the military would focus more on re-upping the numbers, program, get quality in, get people back into shape, get tough again. Seeing these drill sergeants, because I'll tell you what, drill sergeants, especially in the Marine Corps, are the biggest badasses you'll ever meet in your life, man. They can break down huge ass dudes and fucking start crying right in the barracks, man. And I see these dudes and I'm thinking, all right, I probably would be trying so hard not to laugh at this guy, but like all these new ones popping up out of shape, or they some of them, they're trying to like say you can't make them do more than a certain amount of push-ups for, if they get smoked because they fucked up in boot camp or whatever. It's just like they're lowering the standards, and then I'm thinking, okay, guys, participation trophies should not work for the military. Standards should not be lowered for the military, man. That's protecting our country and our people. And I just think, all these blunders we keep hearing about. I don't know if anybody's familiar, but I don't know, maybe it was a year and a half ago, there was a airman over on the East Coast. He had some, I don't know what his security clearance was. Air Force has I don't really know a lot of their operations or about it. He had some sensitive information. He was sharing it with people on Discord. I had to look what Discord is. I guess it's another social media platform, but like, he was giving that to people. They arrested him. There was some guy who had a hoax website of like, join us and you can be a professional hitman or whatever. And there was like, this is another airman. This one's actually pretty funny to me. And this dude's posing with like an airsoft M16 or whatnot, and he's like emailing this person like, yeah, I want to be ready to kill, all this stuff, send me to a target. He was in the Air Force. They busted his ass. I don't know exactly what for. I haven't really looked into that one for a while, but I mean, it's just like, fuck, man, that's who's protecting us. And then I'm thinking about these crazy ass drone things flying around or whatever. You know, in my opinion, they've got to be from the United States because, you know, they're trying to say, hey, don't shoot these down if you guys see them. It's not like most people with a regular rifle would be able to go out and do that anyways, but I don't know. I'm curious as to what's really going on with that. A lot of conspiracies, I'm sure, and I bet you there's some pretty good ones out there and more creative than I can come up with. But, you know, I mean, as far as that fact goes, but, you know, with the military anyways, that's kind of my rant and bitch about it, seeing this stuff. I mean, you know, you just, if you guys are bored, yeah, I mean, it's just, if you guys are bored, go look up what Russia's like recruiting ads look like, and then compare it to our current ones for the military now. Dude, it's disappointing. I mean, you know, they look badass in their video. You know, you've got these big old huge ass dudes doing badass shit and whatever, and like, you look at ours and you've got, I don't know, two moms holding hands, saying they're proud of their daughter as she's going off to the army or whatever the hell it is. And it's just like, dude, military's not supposed to be soft. it's just not. I mean, you know, you can get away with some of it, but, you know, with the Navy, maybe the Coast Guard, even though they're not really the military anymore, Space Force and the Air Force, you know, it's for the smart people. But, like, if you're going to send somebody out on infantry, man, I just think, wow. Yeah, they wouldn't allow it in our airspace. No, you know, I don't know, man. I really don't. It's got my curiosity, though. I mean, but I have no idea, Sonny. I couldn't tell you. One thing I do know, there are, out here in South Dakota, there's a lot of missile silos. South Dakota and North Dakota, a lot of people probably didn't know about. We've got, let's see, maybe about half mile down the road from where I live. I don't know, further than that. I'd say maybe, we'll just say 3 miles, whatever. We've got the Army Corps of Engineers. Now there's a big dam on the Missouri River, and I go fishing up around that area or whatnot. They run that thing. They maintain the land around it. You know, they're always doing stuff out there. We've got Air National Guard. They're not too far. They're all, you know, it's interesting because you can always tell when they're up to something, because you'll just see a big old convoy of military trucks roll right through town and right past and heading out to the sticks to go do something. But I don't know, man. Like, it's got me puzzled. I mean, South Dakota, it's beautiful land to look at. It's flat as hell. You know, if enemy combatants were out here, well, I like living out here because, I mean, let's face it, man. So if they ever invade the country, who the hell's going to want to come out to South Dakota? I mean, maybe get a few pictures at Mount Rushmore before the fighting begins or something, but I don't know. It's living rural's kind of nice. Something that is interesting, based, you know, kind of off that. And if you guys haven't, I used to watch Sean Ryan quite a bit. I used to really enjoy his show, but he's had some guests on there that, you know, just kind of turned me off to watching him. A lot of stuff was repetitive. You know, same kind of stories and stuff like that. The first bunch were pretty rad. There's a CIA targeter that's actually works with Sean Ryan on some stuff for some of his media accounts and whatnot. But she's been on there a few times, and she's talked about terrorist attacks and, you know, going over things like that. Sarah something. Her most recent one with him, I'd recommend watching, because she's talking about how, like, Al-Qaeda is actually recruited. They've got quite a bit of numbers. They're spread out all over the place. They're doing disorganized organization. In other words, guys that are involved in it or members or whatever, they actually have training camps now. And they showed some urban warfare training camps of some of the spies and stuff like that on the show. And me seeing these dudes running drills and things like that, like you know, your basic infantries, but then they're getting up into some advanced, like CQB and whatnot. And it's just kind of like, okay, that's a little bit intimidating and scary. That beats them, you know, doing the monkey bars 20 some odd years ago. Uh, but she was stating that there's even so many cells that are already in the United States and they're just waiting to strike, and something big's going to happen soon. She's like, we don't know when, but it's going to happen soon because they've been planning it for a while. And like with the Hamas thing, that thing was planned for quite some time, and then all of a sudden, the bullshit started happening, and Israel had to kick everybody's asses because Israel's a bunch of bad motherfuckers. But I don't know. I would check that one out because that's the best interview he's had in a long time. Let's see here. Two theories: either looking for something or they're mapping something out. That's a good possibility. Now, mapping things out, that would actually make sense, Sonny. I mean, there's Google Earth, right? Well, with these drones, they're mapping stuff out. I could see that. You know what? That's actually not a bad theory. Mapping it out. The thing about mapping it out, though, like who's doing it and why? Is it our government just doing it to? I don't know. I mean, we'll never get a straight answer from our government. If it's a private person doing it, I'd sure as hell like to know. They're kind of scaring the entire East Coast for starters, but I don't know, man. It's some weird stuff, some conspiracy tinfoil stuff. In fact, I think I can get a good price on these for you, Sonny. I say we go into market them. We'll be on Shark Tank, dude, and market those for like $10 each. And we can tell people it's all recyclable material, so it's good for nature. I'm sure tinfoil businessman will make some major ass money. But I don't know, guys. That's kind of the rants. I started dropping Gunfather for Harem Maxim. I was like, you know what? I've done suppressors. Gotten all that content out. Harem Maxim's got a pretty interesting story. He's not the biggest name, but I did one on Magpul, or the founder of Magpul. And I've done one on the founders of Kimber Manufacturing and whatnot. And it's like, you know what? This dude, even though he only did one or two things or whatnot, you look at the impact of it. I mean, I was looking at Maxim's designs, as far as like baffles and things like that go, for his original Maxim silencer. Now, he called them silencers because it sounded good. I mean, he had his disclaimers and everything like that. But he got a lot of ridicule for it until he went out to the field and actually demonstrated those, and everybody was like, that's badass. I mean, like, there's a picture I have. I don't know if it's on my community, but it's in one of my videos, or at least one or two of them. You've got him. He's out in the weeds. He's got his big old suppressor on the end of his rifle, and he's got one, lever action rifle, and he's out there shooting. And I don't know. It's a cool picture. I enjoy it because I never would have thought in my life, on a lever action, pop on a suppressor. The Shark Tank address, 100 tinfoil headsets, show up with them $10 each bro. These protect against modern radioactive weaponry. Yeah, that and drone people from stealing your credit card information or something, dude. Oh man, put tactical on there. I'm sure Johnny Q will buy it or wear it. Good question. Shit. This is our John Wick tinfoil. Or Jason Bourne or whatever. But yeah, man, I mean, for real, it's nuts. It's insane. But I don't know. I don't know if you guys saw my community page, but on that tinfoil video I made, this dude left a comment saying I think this guy's some sort of federal agent trying to, steer us in a different direction of what's really going on or something like that. Don't follow for it, people. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. And I was like, oh, man, I'm thinking, should I go with it? The old Casey would have been like, dude, let's go with it and just fuck with this dude. And then I was like, nah. And I think I posted something like, no, I want to know what they're all about too. But yeah, I should have just played that one off. Kind of mad I didn't. And once I comment, I don't want to go back and edit it because then it's like I'm spending way too much of my time doing this, having to go back and edit it. So I don't know, but I don't know. We'll break some people's balls on it, I guess, or whatever. But I'll have some more videos dropping, guys. Thanks everybody for watching. Antonino, Sunny Shorts, Mooch, all you guys, Redhead Stepchild, if you're out there listening, you guys have a good evening. Thanks for supporting the channel.